So Andrew Cuomo, as you know, was not speaking publicly after the blockbuster piece in the New York Times showing and detailing how members of his administration had interfered with the supposed independent ethics, criminal corruption investigations by the Moreland Commission. So he didn't, he stayed out of the limelight. He hid, Governor Cuomo did, for about 5 days. On Sunday night, it was announced that Governor Cuomo would make an appearance in Buffalo on Monday morning. Just hours before he did, according to the New York Times, one of the co-chairs of the Moreland Commission, William J. Fitzpatrick, released a 3-page statement in which he asserted that, quote, nobody interfered, end quote, with me or my co-chairs. Mr. Fitzpatrick's statements seemed at odds with the frustration he expressed to colleagues last year. In one email reported by the Times, he wrote that Mr. Cuomo's office, quote, needs to understand this is an independent. He capitalized all of the letters in that word. Commission, and needs to be treated as such. Now, the implications from that statement is that Mr. Cuomo does not understand that this is an independent commission, and he doesn't understand that he has to treat us that way, implying that he also has not been treating us that way. Mr. Fitzpatrick's statement on Monday also appeared to contradict previous statements he made to federal prosecutors. And this is important, folks. According to 3 people briefed on the matter but not authorized to speak on the record, Mr. Fitzpatrick did not immediately return a call seeking comment. And so, in other words, he did, in fact, give statements to the Fed saying that somebody interfered with him or his co-chairs. Now, why is this important? It's important because the U.S. attorney from the Southern District of Manhattan, Preet Bharara, has sent a letter to the governor saying, we have reason to believe a number of commissioners recently have been contacted about the commission's work, and some commissioners have been asked to issue public statements characterizing events and facts regarding the commission's operation. To the extent anyone attempts to influence or tamper with a witness's recollection of events relevant to our investigation, including the recollection of a commissioner or one of the commission's employees, we request that you advise our office immediately, as we must consider whether such actions constitute obstruction of justice or tampering with witnesses that violate federal law. You see what he's saying here? Come clean to us. Did you contact any of these commissioners? Did you contact? Excuse me. The beauty of this is starting to choke me up. Did you contact any of these commissioners and tell them to make statements or to perceive their recollection differently than they would have otherwise? And so we have Fitzpatrick now contradicting what the evidence shows he felt contemporaneously with this interference. We have Fitzpatrick now contradicting what he had told federal investigators. And the U.S. Department of Justice is basically saying to Cuomo, did you contact them? Did anybody from your office contact them? Did anybody from your office contact employees of him? And according to the story, at least some of those statements were prompted by calls from the governor or his emissaries, according to people with direct knowledge of the situation who are unwilling to be named for fear of reprisal. One commissioner who received a call from an intermediary on behalf of the governor's office said he found the call upsetting and declined to make a statement. There is a serious question now as to whether or not people in Governor Cuomo's office are going to be indicted on charges of obstruction of justice or tampering with witnesses. This is a federal law. You cannot do this. You cannot do this. And this isn't a slap on the wrist. You cannot obstruct a federal investigation because you think it's politics. Now, if only Andrew Cuomo had any type of legal background as to what's important with what prosecutors think is important. Oh, wait a second. He was Attorney General. I'm telling you, this right here, right? It's not the crime. It's the cover-up. You just can't mess with this. You cannot mess with this. Somebody made a very, very major miscalculation because everything that I have read to you from this story has obviously come from somebody who's leaking this from the Southern District of Manhattan's office. Brar is not sending this letter unless he has reason to believe that, I mean, it's amazing. You advise our office immediately if you made any of these contacts. It's clear that he did, or somebody in their office did.
Well, and also Brar is not like known as a stick your neck out crusader type. He's an incredibly
He's a very
calibrated
prosecutor.
Smart. He's a very good prosecutor, but he wouldn't.
Well,
he
being
wouldn't
a good
take
prosecutor
this on.
means you don't take cases.
Yeah.
You don't wade into areas where you don't think you have the goods.
Right.
All right, let's
I
go
just
to
have to say, if Sam is in a bad mood, 3 steps. Sam, look at a picture of Saul on your phone.
right.
Medicare is going to be solvent longer than we expected. Here's the report. I'll IM it to you. Andrew Cuomo might actually lose election, and maybe, just maybe, he might go to jail.
I mean, it is going to be ugly couple of months for Cuomo's people.
How much pleasure with Christie and
I'll
Cuomo.
tell you something, right? And here's the thing, and we saw this with Christie, and we know, like we've seen bills now. There's been a lot of grand jury activity in New Jersey. The bottom line is that, and it's indicative of the fact that Cuomo has to send interns to protest Zafferticha, right? That you can rule by fear, but as soon as there is a chink in your armor, people are going to attack at it. And so the number of people who are willing to talk to these guys, I imagine they're lining up now. As long as, you can promise me no leaks as to who it is.